decide.
Come on.
Who are you?
Who are you?
You don't get to tell him what to do and where to go and how he was honest from day one. If you watch the interview on 60 Minutes, he said if somebody called me, I'm definitely going to look into it. It's business, black folks.
It's business.
Everything. That's the big picture. Now the new coach ain't got to worry about trying to get no football field. He already got a football field. Now he ain't got to scrape for money to get a new locker room. He got a brand new locker room. He got a swimming pool in there. He got everything that Coach Prime left. So that's going to make it easier for the next coach. See, you ain't looking at that. Because half of the job is trying to get the money and get everything that the program needs. Prime Time already got the stuff for the program, right? So the new coach, now he can just focus on recruiting and coaching. Social media team that I'm going.
Smiley dropped it, y'all. He dropped so many gems in this thing. It's just, oh, I'm trying to pick the best parts to give my reactions.
Bye, Coach Prime. Thank you, Coach Prime. We wish you could stay. I wish you could stay. I see this video, but I am proud of you, man. On your boy.
Proud.
I think you changed your number because I text you a couple of times, but I know if you would saw that text message from me, you would have hit me back. But just know this, Coach.
Ricky gonna be a comedian.
You wherever you go. I'm gonna always be a supporter of Jackson State University and Alabama State University, Alabama A&M, Talladega, Stillman, Tuskegee, Morehouse, Howard, any HBCUs. I'm gonna always be a supporter, and I always put my money where my mouth is. Support HBCUs. Now it's somebody else's turn, okay? Y'all get mad at a new pastor. If a new pastor come in there and take the chairs off the pulpit. You know pastors sit on the front row now. You know pastors don't like sitting up in the pulpit, right? You do know they don't have a podium no more. You do know Pastor Keon and different pastors have changed the style of preaching. And you know they don't do devotion no more, right? They just do worship and praise before the pastor.
Yeah. I'm not religious, but I feel every word of what he's talking about right there.
Play in 25 minutes now. Nobody got the boiled greens for no damn 3 hours to get a good.
Hold on. Oh, y'all got to hear this.
People don't even like,
the perfect metaphor.
Like open up their mind towards new food and new recipes. Now my grandmama cooked the greens this way. Okay, so don't nobody have to boil greens all day. You can saute greens. You can have greens from the sink
and keep the
to the plate in 25 minutes now. Nobody got to boil greens for no damn 3 hours to get a good damn plate of collard greens. And the sauteed greens taste better.
Come on.
Now what if I would have told the person that taught me how to cook those greens, that ain't the way my grandma, just because your grandmama cooked them that way, that don't mean that they taste better than anybody else's greens. Your grandmama didn't have the resources that we have now.
Resources.
Open your mind up to change. Change is good. Deion Sanders has opened the door for another.
So we're going to do a taste of this here, Brother Martin, breaking it down. Hear it out.
Commenting about Deion Sanders being a sellout when it comes to leaving Jackson State, and they made no affirmative decision to actually buy black.
Ain't buying black. Ain't supporting nothing black. But always got something to say.
It's real easy to focus on Deion, but not look at yourself and what you were doing. And so that's what gets me when people are upset. Now, what folks also have to understand is everybody ain't built the same. I understand. When I was at CNN, they asked me to leave the Tom Jordan Morning Show, to leave TV One and all in my books and my speeches, and I said no. I said, I'm not leaving my black stuff. Y'all haven't given me a daily show. You haven't given me the higher salary, so I'm not going to leave my stuff on a possible promise. I had a lunch with John Klein. John's a great guy. It was in 2009. He was the president of CNN US. He asked me, when are you going to get done with all this other stuff, TV One and Tom Jordan? And I said, when you going to give me a 5-day-a-week show? There was no response. I said, well, I ain't leaving. Well, the next year, John Klein gets fired at CNN. I don't leave CNN until 2013. When I left CNN, I still had TV One, Tom Jordan, and all my other stuff. And so everybody out here is not committed specifically to working in black institutions. And that's fine. There are black people right now who are in media, who work at ABC and NBC and CBS, and they want to work in mainstream media. They are not committed to working in black-owned media. I made a conscious decision to do so. Now, Deborah, you look at Robin Roberts, she's making $20 million at Good Morning America. When you look at Al Roker, when you look at so many other different people, they're making multiple millions, and that's fine. I made a different decision in terms of what I want them to do with my life. And so, understand that's the case. So, Leader, you're absolutely right. What we've got to learn to do in black institutions is to, on Makongo's point, stop sitting here looking for the savior, but also let's create multiple people who understand what we're doing and also what we're trying to build. Now, let me make this point as well.
That part. We're going to go there. We're going to get there.
Commit, I'm going to send my school $1 a month. That's $12 a year. Y'all, numbers don't lie. If 1,000 graduates send $12 a year, that's more money than they gave last year. So what I'm trying to get us to understand is we've got to stop being so emotional because of what Deion did. When we as black folks on a daily basis literally drive right past black businesses and give our money to white businesses. See, I'm trying to get y'all to think much bigger and broader.
You should see the room. You got to watch this.
You cannot convince me.
The room is half and half. Some clapping, some quiet.
There's no.
We're going to get into it. Now, first and foremost, I haven't watched every interview that Deion has done. I haven't even watched the one that's been referenced multiple times of him on 60 Minutes. But I'm not at all surprised of what he said because it coincides with other things I've already heard him say. And I know he's smart enough as a businessman and an athlete and a father and a husband and a family man in general, and a man with his own future and his own agenda for his own life to make a decision that affects his life first and foremost, and then the lives of all the children he touches as a coach and this foster father figure he is to so many young men, and the inspiration he gives young women too, just in general, just what he does, being the legend he is. So at no point did I expect or was I surprised when he took a elevated opportunity to make a higher salary. I think it's admirable. I think it sets a tone. And most importantly, as my man Rickey Smiley said, he didn't come and leave you abandoned. He built and then he went on. That's what everyone who is a true leader should be doing. You can't get stuck, because when you get stuck, a lot of your same people who are saying, we just want you to stay here forever and be ours forever, as soon as you have a bad season, you can have one bad game. They had an undefeated season at Jackson State. Let them have one bad game. If he had stayed on another year, let them lose one damn game. One game. And people would talk about you like nothing. You built the doggone AstroTurf. You gave them that. You got sponsors from Walmart and all these other folks. You gave part of your own salary to the program. You could give blood every day and it still won't be enough. You lose that one game. You lose too many games after that game. And as he said in the locker room when he told the team that I'm leaving, he said, and this is not a quote, but this is how I loosely remember what he stated. He said, yo, in this biz, as a coach, you either move on up or you get fired. There's only two choices. You can look at the track record of how it works for all coaches at any level of school. They either get fired, because as soon as you start losing games, they're going to be trying to fire you. Or you get a better opportunity because you've been winning and somebody else wants to win with you, so they offer you a better situation. And you take it if you're smart, because you understand that's the game. That's the business. That's the game inside the game behind the game, the real game, the business, y'all. And like Rickey Smiley said, it's not to be taken so personal. Black folk and other people in general too who get emotional like this have to understand this is about recognizing opportunity and recognizing that we're all here to fulfill our personal legacies. Once you know your purpose, this is a man who walks in his purpose. He's very religious and all that. I'm not religious, but I totally understand. It wouldn't matter if he was saying God in a Christian form, or if he was Muslim, or if he was Hindu, or if he was Buddhist, or if he was any other spirituality that's not as big and well known, it wouldn't matter. It's all the same to me. I'm a universalist. And when he says that he's been guided a certain way to make a decision for his life, I know what he's talking about. Because the same energy speaks to me. The same energy speaks to me. And that's the part I wanted to speak on of how I relate to this as the ONYXCON founder and president. When I started ONYXCON in 2009, it was for many reasons, but it was inspired especially by other conventions that set a tone, Black conventions, that set a tone for what could be done with a Black-owned, Black-operated, Black culturally focused arts event. The first that I ever was impressed by was the Black Arts Festival here in Atlanta, the Atlanta Black Arts Festival, which still has programming and has events. They don't have what they used to have when I was growing up. They used to have these events in the malls. Anybody who grew up in the 90s knows what I'm talking about if you're in real ATL. We used to be able to go to, they used to have it at Greenbrier Mall, and they would have vendors throughout the entire mall. Okay, just imagine through the entire mall. This is common now. I mean, this has been done again and again by other organizations imitating their format, or others who did some similar stuff before even Black Arts Fest, but nobody did it exactly like Black Arts, but they did a whole phenomenal job. But the point is, when you saw these artists from all over the country and all over the world, and then performances and everything, I was very inspired by that. Then I found out about the Black Age of Comics movement started by Tertel Only from Chicago, Illinois, who when I was graduating in high school, that this was going on. I found out about the Black Age movement and about other conventions that were inspired by what he did, the East Coast Black Age of Comics Convention in Philadelphia. Shout out to my peeps up there. And that's where I started my journey. I went to Philly. And then I kept going. Every time I made the sacrifice, it was always a financial sacrifice because I didn't have the money to keep traveling every year to do it, but I did it. I did it come hell or high water for about 4 years straight, I think. Then I took a gap hiatus for maybe a year or two and came back again. I've been to it at least 5-6 times. I can't remember total. Yumi Odom, the founder and president, knows how many times I've been. And I'm just honored to have always had so much of an experience with ECBAC. It was amazing. But because of those events, I was inspired to do ONYXCON. Now, when I started ONYXCON in Atlanta, it was funny because a lot of people who I met in Philly were saying, man, you should do something like this in Atlanta. Like they were kind of egging me on to do it. And I was already thinking, yeah, this would be amazing in Atlanta. Because, I mean, I know what Atlanta is as a Black Mecca and just in general for diversity and for the arts and where it could be. Because at the time, what's going on now was not going on. Okay, when I started ONYXCON in 2009, the film industry was not what it is now. Okay, make that very clear. It may have had some humble beginnings, but it sure as hell was not what we got going on right now. So as time went on, and I built this thing, from the first ONYXCON, we had over 500 people in attendance. And we kept that average for most of the years. We had some years where we dropped below that here and there, but it wasn't never far. It was always in the hundreds. But the point is, I started to see a pattern. I said, man, as we grow, people love it. They come, they support it. I started having vendors from all over the country, and we averaged about maybe 30 some odd vendors. But the point is, we would never really, I would always just break even on a financial level of what it took me to put on. And really, that's a nice way of putting it. Really, it was under breaking even. It was always in the red, never in the black, really. But you didn't look at it that way because you looked at it like, well, you know, this little thing I put in of my own money or my own gas or my own this and that, or my parents helping, my sister helping, my cousin and them, my uncle and aunt, my boys, my girl, my homies, my whatever, at the time I was married, after my divorce, even people who supported, just all of that energy, right? You look at it and you don't really tally it all the way up. But when you start tallying it up and you say, wow, how many times did I get approached by all these people who were these big ballers who said they could help ONYXCON and take it to the next level, and all you need is a budget, and man, I make a lot of money, and I do this and I do that, and I really know some people who could help you, and you'd be all ear. You'd be like, all right, cool. You'd have these long, I can't tell you how many meetings I've had on the phone for hours with people talking my head off with all these promises. And then a day later, you can't even get them to call you back. It's as if it didn't even happen. It's like they ghosted on the whole conversation and just wasted your time. I can't tell you how many times that happened. I can't tell you how many times people came from other states and they want to look down on Atlanta, especially, I hate to say, but a lot of folks from up north who think, everybody's slow in the South, and they come down and they say, oh, this is a nice little thing you got going. They're vendor at my event, but they're telling me, it's a nice little thing. That's how you know they're crazy when they start talking that little mess. This little thing you got going, man, we could do a lot with this, man. I can get my people on this. We turn this thing out, man, turn it into something else. You sitting there looking like, okay, here we go again. And you give them your information just to be humble, and again, they flake. Or they have such an ego when they come in, they want to be treated like gods and goddesses, and you try to give them something because maybe they do have an amazing amount of talent. Like some of these artists are just incredible. Their work is amazing. What they've done is a hell of a track record, but nobody knows their name. They're not household names. But as soon as people see their work, they are amazing. Like, oh my gosh, who did this? Oh, this is the artist. Oh my gosh, your stuff is beautiful, right? But because they've got a little bit of fame back home or whatever, and when they go out on, to the conventions, they want to be treated like they're already Will Smith or Jay-Z and Beyonce coming to the comic convention. So I went through all that with those types of people too, who burn bridges, break up with you over, break up with the event over such nonsense. Just literal nonsense, just literal personal psychological issues. Because that mental health thing, people love to use the phrase mental health now. Like, it's a new thing to have mental issues. This is since the beginning of humanity, y'all. But these things destroy businesses, destroy relationships, destroy the growth and the team building and the team effort of making something like an organization like ONYXCON flourish. But it never broke us. I kept going, no matter what. And all my true folk, y'all know who you are, was always by my side. When I needed y'all, y'all was there every single year. And I thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. And I'm mentioning all of this to say, I know what it feels like to be Deion, just on a whole nother level. I know what it feels like to change your situation, as Rickey Smiley said. You just decide to cook the greens different, and black folk get an attitude, right? They don't want to try no different food. They don't want to try nothing different. They don't want to go nowhere different. As soon as 2020 hit, and all of what we are still dealing with the show enough core of the pandemic, I had a lot of time to think about things I had been thinking about. And I didn't have the pressure of, okay, ONYXCON is always going to be in February for the Black History when we do ONYXCON Sankofa. And then I got to do the one in August too. I need to start getting my stuff together. I didn't have that pressure that year. I had time to really say, wait a minute. Let me look at last year, the year before, and all the way back to the beginning. And yeah, we had some amazing times, and I'll never regret one single second of what I did and what we're continuing to do, because it never ended. Just because it's no longer a convention, a live physical convention with people behind tables selling their goods, does not mean ONYXCON died. But I do notice that a lot of people, a lot of black folk, you go switch it up and add something different or change things around. When I made ONYXCON Fitness and when I made ONYXCON Outdoors, and I started sharing the wisdom and the knowledge of being outside and being in nature, which being amongst the rest of nature, as I always say, because we're not just going into nature, we are nature. Being one with the rest of nature. When I started sharing that message, when I started saying how important that was to how I do my art and how I notice that all the artists I admire have a relationship with the rest of nature, and they love it and they cherish it. They don't always talk about it because they know everybody's not into that. They can't understand. Why would you go hiking all the time? Why do you like fishing? Why do you like travel so much? Why do you like it? Some people don't get it. So they just, and then some people would be jealous of all these things because can be expensive to do. So if you don't have the resources, or if someone hasn't gifted you resources like I've been blessed to have, my dad has done it all his life. That's why I can fish like I do. The point of the story is that when you do something different and people see you going and you're enjoying your life and doing something they can't even understand why, suddenly they get quiet on you. Either they're going to criticize you or they're going to get quiet on you. In my case, I think people got enough sense to know, if you know me well, you don't want to try me. Not because I'm the baddest bad. I'm a lover, not a fighter. But that's why you don't want to test me, because somebody who loves is passionate, and I love ONYXCON. So people leave it alone in terms of criticizing what I've changed, but they definitely get quiet on me. They get real quiet. And the silence is just the same as people booing you or not supporting you or not understanding that if you were a vendor for ONYXCON, just for example, Not everybody. What I'm about to say does not apply by any means to everybody, because those who are supporting, and some that I've never even met, they were never vendors at ONYXCON, they never made it, but they always knew about it, and they wanted to be a part of it, and they stayed in touch. And I'm not talking about y'all. Y'all know, y'all my real ones. I love y'all, appreciate you. And even the ones I'm about to talk about, I still got love for you, but I want y'all to understand something's wrong with the mental of this. If you had the money, I ain't saying, I want to make it clear, everybody that was a vendor at ONYXCON never had the money to always be there every year. I know that. But I'm talking about the ones who do, the ones who did, the ones who are good, the folks who went through the pandemic and was able to sustain real well, never had to worry about a thing, never had to get any kind of government assistance like yours truly, never had to get any other kind of assistance like yours truly, never had to do any of the things that some of us have to do to damn survive as artists, but could be there. Suddenly got quiet when, Joseph fishing now? He traveling, he changing up the thing, he focusing on YouTube. I hear and see the silence, and your silence is telling me that you're not feeling it. Your silence is saying it's haterism. Your silence is telling me that. Your ability to not go and click on YouTube and subscribe is telling me that. It's the same as what folk are doing to Prime right now. You're jealous of opportunities that these people get. Because see, when mine comes, mine ain't even fully come yet. I've been an actor in the biz for over 9 years, about to hit my 10-year tenure in the Hollywood of things. And I'm not even waiting. I always said this, and I'm still saying this. I never waited on Hollywood. It's more important to me to do independent films, which is why I support anybody doing something independent that has got a really great story and a great energy about it, because that's the stuff that will become the next big thing. And it's unfortunate that we don't have the resources by the time it wants to get to that next level of what we call big, where we don't even have to deal with these other super huge, often ignoring our cultural contributions organizations. And then there's those who are literally very liberal and do support us. So who you think you're going to go with when over here your own folk getting quiet on you while somebody else is offering you a better check? When you're doing things for your own people and you've been doing it for years. Even before I did ONYXCON, my job as an art instructor was still damn near like charity, because I worked in Fulton County and I did it through a program where we were always hired as, we were literally, they would have us sign every year a document that says, I understand I could be fired at any time and that this job is totally voluntary for me to work, basically. I'm a contract hire, period. We didn't even have benefits. You're in your 20s and 30s, and even though the job has a decent hourly rate, they stressed you and micromanaged you. I could go on and on and on. I'm not going to get too far off on that. But all my folk who understand, all my artists that live this art life for real, you know what I'm talking about. Because it's all over the country in one way or another, this disrespect for artists. While other people have jobs with benefits and everything, we the ones that get the contract jobs and the less budget and the cuts every year when something needs to be cut. We're going to cut art first. We done lived that shit. We done went through that bull and we sick of it. We fed the up. So here we are, right? In another level of life with all kind of new opportunities coming, new horizons. And your own folk getting quiet in the time of glory. This is the harvest season. This is the time where if Joseph R. Wheeler III messes around and gets something through the Hollywood side of it all, like I said, I ain't waiting on him. I'm going to still do me first. Okay? Which is why YouTube is so important, because it gives you a platform to do you. And I can be the face of ONYXCON, as I will always be. Always have been, pretty much. But I decided in 2020, I said, just do it. Just be that guy and bring all of your resources. Interview all these legends and leave that material. So one day they'll wake up and say, oh my gosh, wait a minute. This brother interviewed Neville Page, who was the creature design department head for Avatar, the first Blue Aliens film. Yeah, I interviewed him. I'm cool with Neville. That's the homie. I interviewed doggone Turtel On Lee, the beginning of the Black Age. This is before it was even on YouTube. We were doing everything on IGTV, on Instagram. Then I did Tony Taylor. Got an interview with Miss Taylor. Amazing artist. Heavy Metal magazine covers. All kind of other magazines and legendary information that she gave up in that interview. This is, oh my gosh. Dan Lish, who Dave Chappelle himself just co-signed.
Dan Lish, J. Period gave me the book, brother. I couldn't thank you enough. Your artwork is beautiful, man. And
my brother out in England. I interviewed Dan. Dan's the homie. That's ONYXCON fam. This is what I'm saying. We got the content. But I know what it feels like to be slept on. And that's where HBCUs were in football and in what could be in football until Deion damn Sanders showed up. Y'all need to give that man his love. No form of disrespect whatsoever. Damn ever. You out your mind to disrespect that man. That dude literally has set the margin for what it should be. And if others continue to do what he's doing, everything can climb and resources can grow. And the true liberal types that I talked about, the PWI institutions, not all of a whole institution like that is going to be with you. I'm sure he's going to go through plenty of mess while he's there. But for those who support him, for those who brought him in and believed in him and wanted him there for a reason, to win, but win with his style, understanding he don't change who he is for nobody. It's going to set a standard and it's going to continue to grow and it's going to make a bridged gap between HBCUs, PWIs, to where now education period for humanity becomes the focus. And then we can really get some damn where. Then we can really get somewhere. Because trust me, I have tried, y'all, to see the reason and the resources to bring ONYXCON back. Just this year, there were three educational institutions that I had a connection through. One particular lady at one of those institutions that put me in touch with these other ladies who are all professors at these institutions who are all interested in speculative fiction, science fiction, the arts, okay? That's 4 women involved. 2 of these women are not black. I don't care about that. I care about that they care about black folk, that they care about our stories. They want to see our stories. They want to support our stories. They want to support our fictional and actual history. One of them is Asian. The other one is Caucasian. But they respect me. And the Caucasian lady put me in touch with the other 3 ladies. The other 3 ladies, 1 Asian, as I said, and 2 African-American women. And all 4 of these ladies are great supporters of ONYXCON. I'm going to send this video to y'all. Y'all know who you are, and I appreciate you. But I'll never forget all of them telling me that they knew they would have to jump through some bureaucratic hoops to get some things established if we were going to try and do ONYXCON at these institutions that they represent. I'm not going to mention who the institutions are, but I am going to say 2 of the institutions are HBCUs and 1 of them is a PWI. But with both situations, there's a lot to deal with and there's a lot of scheduling, there's a lot of meetings that could never be, in addition to their workload, there's just a lot that I know how this goes. I didn't do ONYXCON for 10 years plus, okay, the actual convention, before I realized what it takes to do these types of things. And see, that's the other thing about this level of what Deion is going through. He's on the level of a national sports empire, if you will, of college sports. Oh my gosh, the money in college football. There's more money in college football than in NFL on the level of PWIs. You're talking about serious money. But anyway, back to my point. So when I tried to do what I was going to do, and even I on my very, not going to say small, because it's not a small idea, but just on, a less economically astute or high level, we couldn't pull it off for 2023. We were trying to get something back for 2023. It just didn't make sense logistically and otherwise when I looked at the schedule of what the planning would be and how many meetings and possibilities and all of what would have to go into trying to just get somebody to shake a hand and open a door. It didn't make sense. And it also still doesn't make sense logistically until I get enough safeguards for health, for security. It's so much that goes. Have you ever watched these games at JSU and seen how much security is around Deion while he was there? It's a different type of situation. I'm pretty sure in the history of all their coaches at games, yeah, they always had security, but I bet it didn't look like it looked when Deion was there. Things go to a different level. And they're supposed to. And that's what I realized, is I have to take ONYXCON to another level. And it might not, for now, be doing the convention again, but it will be continuing to give y'all content that makes you think outside the box. Edutainment for the arts. For the arts. So if you're feeling what I'm saying and you understand everything that I'm doing, join the adventure. Contribute to ONYXCON. Hit that subscribe button. But for anybody who thinks, oh man, ONYXCON ain't, it ain't what it used to be, it ain't this, it ain't that, because we're not doing a convention, step. And I wouldn't care if that meant hundreds, if not thousands of people, because all I want to replace you with is millions that understand what the hell I'm doing and why I do it. And that's why ONYXCON, since day one, I always said, I want to call it ONYXCON for a reason. It's a very deep symbolism. Onyx as a stone is most associated with its black form, which is, the black stone, because there's multiple minerals that make up what onyx is, technically. And it doesn't just come in black. It comes in black. It has quartz in it. So if you want to get to, if you just want to be symbolic and say, oh, that's white, black, there's brown elements. There's even a green onyx. Okay? So my theory, my philosophy when I chose the word onyx, first and foremost, I just love the way it sounded. Second, and I give respect to the hip hop group, the Rap Legends Onyx, because they were the first time I ever heard the word. So I always salute that. It doesn't totally reflect what my event is about, but I like some of Onyx's stuff. I grew up in the 90s. I'm cool with Onyx. I got some love for some of their tracks. But more importantly, that word hit me. I always liked XYZ as letters. And so when I was like, Onyx, I like that. That just works. And then to speak of it associated with the attributes of black. But see, I look at black as symbolism, as cultures. We don't do it for the culture, because I can't get with all y'all. Those of y'all who booing Deion Sanders would say, this is the culture. See, I can't get with that culture. I can get with the culture who appreciates what that man did. That's why I say we for the cultures, and we select which ones apply. Because the foolishness never will. Not around here. So back to my point. ONYXCON, con to come together, to convene. And onyx was always meant to be a representation of all humanity with that black core, because we all come from Mama Africa. That's what I said, and I ain't bite my tongue. It's on our website. It's been there since day one of ONYXCON.com. None of this is hidden. There's no hidden agenda. There's no weird secret society BS going on. This is just in your face what I am, what I'm about, and what I stand for. And I love that. And I only respect that. That's why I like Deion Sanders, because he's the same kind of man. And I'm going to keep respecting and honoring him, because he ain't showing me no reason not to. So for all y'all out here on that other stuff, like all these other great gentlemen have said, Mr. Martin, Mr. Smiley, and anybody else who's supporting Mr. Sanders, you need to wake up to real reality. You need to understand when people have sacrificed their entire life to bring you gems that will continue to contribute to your longevity. It's time to pull up your pants. Physically and mentally, young men. It's time to get your mind right, ladies. It's time to get your mind right, young men. It's time to understand. No one's waiting on you to understand when gems have been dropped. Just appreciate it, because when it's gone, it's still on you. It's never on one person. There is no such thing as the savior. That era of saviors is over. It was always a farce. It's time to see the savior in you. What's in you? Now find somebody else of like mind and y'all get together and do something phenomenal. But stop waiting on somebody else to always give you something. And then when they stop giving you something, oh, he ain't shit. Look, he just left us. He sold out. He ain't sold out a damn thing. He's living for his life and his legacy. Find yours.
And what we should be saying again, and see, let me just keep going here. We should be saying, well, and when I'm buying school gear, am I buying school gear from folks who have paid a licensing fee, or am I buying bootleg? Do I spend more money coming back for homecoming on airfare, car rental, food, liquor, and hotel than I do to the school? See, again, you can be mad at Deion all day. I'm asking for a collective commitment. And if y'all think, oh, I'm just sitting here talking, I keep telling y'all, go listen to Dr. King's speech, April 3rd, 1968, at Mason Temple, when he said black people individually are poor, yet collectively we represent one of the wealthiest economies in the world. And so if we're going to be about that, then what I desire for us is to have a fervor for black institutions and not just talk about it.